study well, and follow the rules, money will eventually take care of itself. That belief is repeated so often that it feels like a first surprise hits. Your paycheck is smaller than expected. Taxes are taken out before you even touch the money. Nobody in school But money doesn't follow the same rules. There are people who work fewer hours yet earn far more because they own assets instead of just trading time for wages. Schools also avoid teaching about risk. You're told to avoid mistakes, avoid failure, and follow safe paths. But wealth becomes uncertain. Retirement accounts are explained in confusing terms that discourage people from learning more. As a result, many delay Uncomfortable truth is that the rules are different depending on how much money you have. The wealthy use accountants, advisors, and legal structures to protect and grow wealth. The average person is about becoming rich overnight. It's about understanding choices, consequences, and systems. It is about knowing even when they're working hard. As people move deeper into adult life, the absence of real money education becomes impossible to ignore. Bills arrive regularly. Choices carry consequences. And suddenly, every financial decision feels heavier than expected. This is usually the point where people start blaming themselves, believing they made the wrong career choice or didn't work hard enough. But the problem isn't effort, it's understanding. One of the biggest truths schools never teach is that money follows systems, not just hard work. Two people can earn the same salary and end up in completely different financial positions based on how they interact with those systems. Taxes, debt, inflation, and incentives quietly shape outcomes. Without knowing how these forces work, people unknowingly play a game with rules they've never read. Another lesson left out is how leverage works. Leverage isn't just about borrowing money. It's about using resources efficiently. Businesses use other people's time. Investors use capital. Owners use systems. Most employees rely only on their own labor. Schools teach self-reliance, but they rarely teach how to build structures that multiply effort. This is why scaling income feels impossible for so many. Risk management is also misunderstood. People are taught to avoid risk entirely, but real financial security comes from understanding and managing it. Playing it too safe has its own dangers. Inflation, job loss, and economic shifts punish those who depend on a single income stream. Diversification isn't just an investment concept. It's a survival strategy. Another uncomfortable truth is that consumption is rewarded more than discipline. Advertising encourages spending. Social media promotes lifestyles without showing the debt behind them. People feel pressure to look successful rather than be stable. Without financial education, it's easy to confuse appearance with progress. Schools don't teach how to resist this pressure or question narratives designed to keep people spending. Money also affects freedom in ways people rarely consider. Financial flexibility allows people to leave toxic jobs, move to better environments, and make choices based on values rather than desperation. Without savings or assets, choices become limited. This isn't about luxury, it's about control. Schools talk about freedom, but rarely explain its financial foundation. Another missing lesson is negotiation. Salaries, rents, contracts, and rates are often negotiable. Yet many people never try because they were never taught how. Silence costs money. Confidence, backed by knowledge, creates opportunity. Negotiation isn't manipulation, it's participation in the system. Financial education also fails to explain how economic cycles work. Booms and downturns are normal, not personal failures. Without this understanding, people panic at the wrong times and miss opportunities when fear dominates headlines. Emotional reactions often do more damage than these cycles themselves. Perhaps the most powerful truth schools never teach is that wealth is built quietly. It doesn't usually come from one big moment, but from years of consistent, boring decisions. Avoiding unnecessary debt, investing regularly, Living below means these actions aren't exciting, which is why they're rarely emphasized. But they work. Money mistakes are also part of the process. Yet failure is stigmatized in education. In reality, mistakes are often the tuition paid for real understanding. People who never learn how to recover from financial errors tend to repeat them. Resilience matters as much as knowledge. Another hidden truth is that financial literacy changes how you see time. Short-term pleasure becomes less appealing when you understand long-term cost. Waiting becomes easier when you see compounding at work. This shift doesn't come naturally. It comes from education and experience. Schools also don't explain how policies affect personal finances. Interest rates, government spending, and monetary decisions shape everyday life. While individuals can't control these forces, understanding them helps with preparation instead of reaction. Awareness reduces fear. Money is also deeply tied to identity. People attach self-worth to income, job titles, and possessions. Without education, this leads to unhealthy comparisons and burnout. True financial health is about sustainability, not status. Another truth is that no one will manage your money better than you. Outsourcing responsibility without understanding creates vulnerability. Advisors can help, but only when you know enough to ask the right questions. Blind trust is expensive. Over time, financially educated people begin to think differently. They ask why before how much. They focus on value instead of price. They understand that not all income is equal and not all debt is bad, but all ignorance is costly. The gap between those who understand money and those who don't continues to widen. Technology accelerates this divide. Information is available, but attention is limited. Those who choose to learn gain leverage. Those who don't fall further behind, often without realizing why. Perhaps the most difficult truth to accept is that schools aren't likely to change quickly. Financial education remains optional, inconsistent, and often outdated. This means responsibility shifts to individuals earlier than ever before. Waiting for the system to prepare you is no longer realistic. Learning about money isn't about rejecting traditional education. It's about completing it. Understanding finances empowers people to use their skills more effectively, not replace them. It turns effort into progress instead of frustration. The moment people take responsibility for learning how money works, their relationship with it changes. Fear gives way to curiosity. Confusion becomes clarity. And decisions become intentional rather than reactive. This is the truth about money. Schools never teach, not because the knowledge is hidden, but because it was never prioritized. And once you see that clearly, you stop waiting for permission to learn. You start building understanding on your own terms, and that shift alone can change the direction of an entire life.